Hello, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be drawing anatomy for 5 days straight. Did it work? No. I learned a lot though, so I'll go over what I learned. So for the first day, I did general anatomy. I just kind of drew what I knew and used some references because I'm not very good at anatomy. One of the things that I wanted to focus on was figuring out how exactly, I knew how I wanted to proportion the body for my style, but I didn't know how to go about the base shapes, like how those shapes work. So I knew it was supposed to be rectangle for the torso and all those basic stuff, but how to use those shapes to come up with the actual body. I don't know if that explains it right, but the details, a rectangle for the torso, but how do you get a more in detail torso from a rectangle? What does the rectangle do exactly? So that was kind of what I was focusing on. I was making notes and stuff and making sure everything was proportioned correctly. So I decided to do 2 circles, one for the hip area and one for the chest area. And then in the middle, it would be the basic, you would just draw the lines and then you got a torso. And the idea was that to make different body types, you would change the size of the circles for the chest and the hips. And you would also draw lines in between, through the circle to show the direction of the hips and show the direction of the shoulders. So that was kind of what I was attempting to do. I was just kind of drawing what I knew and just generally sketching it out and kind of understanding what was going on in each pose. So yeah, that was my first day. I was having a little trouble just because of I don't like drawing arms or legs or anything like that. So I think I got a hang of the torso, but I'm going to do a leg and an arm day base. So I'm focusing on the chest for the next day, specifically on the chest and the torso, because I wanted it to look right. Because normally when I draw, I don't do full body poses. I just think that the way my art works, it gets too pixely if I draw a full body pose. So I'll do full body poses in my sketchbook, but not usually digitally. So I wanted to make sure I had specifically the torso and the arms working pretty well. So I decided to focus on specifically how to proportion the torso. So how big the chest area would need to be, how the ab muscles work and all the muscles, and how the arm attaches to the shoulder. There were a couple things. So the first thing that I was thinking about was where the sternum is and how the sternum sections off the body. So the sternum is going to be under, at the bottom of the chest circle. And then the other thing that was so the sternum is going to go into the shoulder and the chest muscles, because there's a muscle there. I kind of wish I hadn't, it's easier to see, but there's this muscle that goes under, I don't know any names, but it goes across the chest, it's the chest muscle, up and then into the shoulder, specifically the collarbone area. And I was just trying to figure out how exactly I wanted to stylize that specific part, and then also to be able to do different dynamic poses. And this is where the lines came in of the angles of the shoulders and the hips. So that's what I focused on. And then on my next day, I went in and I decided to do arm anatomy. So I started just with a basic chest, and then I wanted to figure out how to attach the arms to the actual body. So I drew the sternum area, and then I drew it up and around to attach so that the muscles kind of overlapping. There's this overlap muscle of your bicep area. I'm sorry, I don't know any technical terms. I was just kind of going off references and how the muscles actually wrap around the bones and the body, and like I don't know, man. I was just kind of looking at it. I was also focusing on the proportions, so exactly where the elbow is in relation to the body. So it would come out exactly in the middle. So like you got your hips and then you got your waist. It's like the narrowest part of your waist is kind of where your elbow is, and then to go in and out in the arm. So like it goes out with the muscle at the top of your shoulder and then bumps back in and then back out for the bones in your elbow, the joint bones, and then goes back in at the wrist. And I was trying to study which muscles exactly make it go in and out like that. And I was making notes on the side so that I can come back and reference that later. And then I was also making sure that when your shoulder's like going up and down, so your arm's going up and down, you have to make sure that the upper arm stays the same length, so it's still in line with proportions, or else it just looks wrong. Then you also want like your wrist to be in line with basically like your hips or your crotch, depending on how much depending on how long your arm is in relation to the rest of your body, and you want that to also be in line, or else it looks wrong. I was also focusing on like how each muscle wraps around like the bone, and that basically shows where each of like the bumps, I've been calling them bumps, but like the bumps for the muscle and how it wraps around. So I was like doing cylinders for each section of the arm and then wrapping like the different muscles around the cylinder to like show exactly what muscle is contributing to what form of the arm. I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense, but those are the things that I was focusing on. And then I decided I wanted to do basically the same thing for the leg. So I started with just one circle this time for the hip and waist, and then I am basically proportioning out the legs. I'm decided to use basically the same system that I used for the arms, basically doing a cylinder and then wrapping the muscles around the cylinder to make sure the forms are all right and it all makes sense. So for example, there's a lot of different types for the legs, but I usually do like a thick upper thigh and then it tapers down and then bumps back out for the knee joint, which is, I've always envisioned the knee joint as more of a diamond shape, and then it bumps back out because you have the back of your calf. There's a muscle there, and that you can kind of see from the front, but it's definitely more visible from the side. So when I was studying it from the side, that's one of the things that I was focusing on. And one of the interesting things about the legs is the back of the leg is straight and then curved, and then the front of the leg is curved and then straight, and the shin is straight, but it's like your upper thigh is like curved. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'll probably put in some arrows to like kind of show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, those are the kind of the things I was focusing on. And then also like the flow of the leg. I used an alcohol marker just to like show the flow of the leg, and then I was done. Let me know what you guys think, and if you guys have any tips for anatomy. I'm still kind of on that journey, so let me know. And have a good day.